populism. In the populist framework, what we find is there is no distinction between good sense and bad sense. There is valorize of subaltern consciousness. Therefore, there is exaggeration. But the prejudices are not nurtured by populism. When populism talks about hatred, the politics of hatred is nurtured by prejudices which are carried out by subalterns themselves. The task is to transform that. Therefore, but not by disrespecting what subalterns know. Only when you respect what subalterns know, it's possible for us to transform the populist stances. Subalterns themselves take. Fascism is put up by subalterns. Fascist forces gather support from subalterns. Without their support, fascism would not be living experience. Therefore, the prejudices are spontaneously articulated by subalterns in favor of fascism. And fascism encases that, builds a populist stance. Therefore, to counter that, it is necessary for us to have a respectful, critical attitude towards subaltern consciousness. Only then it is possible for us to criticize populism. Without dismiss populism altogether, you will not understand how populism articulates the prejudices and suppresses the positive sense. There is necessary for us to understand that directly, and only then it is possible for us to have a critique of populism from inside subaltern consciousness. Interestingly, research scholars work on populism. Nobody has touched on religious populism. Only some other makes mention of it in one sentence. No exploration of religious populism. Participants work on populism, doesn't explore religious populism. Santal groups work on populism, doesn't explore religious populism. Laclau's work on populism doesn't explore religious populism. I am surprised how Marxists ignore religion repeatedly, year by year, despite knowing that religious populism is very large, very big word. It's amazing how we have ignored this. The other questions are interesting. Originality, you said, when ideas are imposed, originality is missing. I gave an example of Random on subalterns, originality is still there. People are not given original thinking, and Maria said the original contribution to Random movement. Original contribution. They think Random movement will assert a kind of social equality, which they are aspiring for. It's denied to them by all the Africans over some decades together. And the originality, I will tell you why. I'll give a very extreme case. In Kandhamal, the former Bhuban district, now known as Kandhamal district in Odisha, there is a massive communal riot in 2007-2008. So, and most of the secular narratives painted tribes supporting Hindutva tribes. The tribes participated in killing, destroying churches led by Dalit Christians. They also killed several Dalit Christians, and several churches were burned. Their houses were burned, streets were burned. They were all hounded out of the village settlements. They affected forest. If forests were out there in Kandhamal, I tell you, Kandhamal riots would have exceeded Gujarat even. Gujarat 2002 did nothing. 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh people would have been killed. But for the forests. Forests became guardians, they became amongst the gods who saved the life of both Kandhals and Panas. But despite that, I will tell you, one village which I studied, I found, which I have documented by one village, tribes they told me that wind came from outside. Look at metaphor, the wind came from outside and swallowed us, devoured us. We participated actively. We killed Dalit Christians. They said, we killed Dalit Christians, we killed poor men. And then when they said they killed, they told me, I was stunned. I said, what is happening? They would say, I have killed. People try to hide facts, they want to reveal. Such a stubborn fact they are revealing openly. So we killed, then we realize we made a mistake. We were caught by winds, blowing from outside. We suffered ourselves. They also suffered because of us. The churches were burned, houses were burned, 4 of them were killed. Finally, we struggled for 2 years to stay in peace. We could not stay in peace. Our children left. The social operation began. Hotels town hotels didn't give us shelter. They said, you are from so village, we will not give you shelter here. Then we experienced social boycott and our relatives didn't come to our villages. They were hounded by police, the checkpost. So we felt social oppression of different kind. Then I realized that, then they said, we realized that time has come for us to revive our glory. We remember our old past, where the Hindus, so-called Hindu tribes and Christian Dalits live together. They organize activities together, they organize social functions together, organize festivals together, participate in each other's death ceremonies and so on and so forth. We perform, we help each other grow in our cultural spheres. We remember all that. When we were pushed to the wall, we remember the good days, the good sense came back. Now never forget, they parted, 2 years they struggled. But 2 years later, the good sense of the past came back. And they revived their glory. They said that now we should come together. They came together and can you believe? Tribes confessed. The first element of dialogue, the first element of dialogue is for Sarpanch Center. Tribes said, we confessed them, we killed. We are sorry for it. We were caught by winds. The winds blew us off our feet. Now our feet are firmly placed in the soil. They literally invoked Gandhi. They don't know Gandhi. I have never walked on Gandhi. What is Gandhi here? The winds are now our feet are firmly placed in the soil. We will not let winds blow us off. So we formed a committee. Committee brought reconciliation between tribes and Panas. Now they rebuilt churches. Can you imagine? Tribes participating, Hindu tribes, participating in church reconstruction. They rebuilt churches and Christians came back. And the Christian people also said, church, if they confessed, we also convert them. We also realized that we were a bit arrogant. We thought that we are part of Western modernity, we are part of Western Christianity, and we can go wherever we want to English people. So they very good felt unnecessary, proud of ourselves, which was not necessary. Now therefore we also reconciled with them. We accepted their apologies, they're sorry, they're sincere about it. So we now let us rebuild our future. So now both the communities are together. They formed a regional Shanti committee and they are guarding winds blowing from outside. Hot winds may come anytime. They must protect their village from hot winds blowing them off. Again, remember Gandhi. So Gandhi comes alive in ordinary tribes and Christians who were not read Gandhi at all. But Gandhians like me forget Gandhi. But tribes remember Gandhi plus the war. The point is that Hindutva do not wind up the story. Common sense remains original. It pressed the wall, they recovered good sense. And good sense helped them to rebuild peace, rebuild reconciliation with the other side. So with whom they hated for a long period of time. Now they know. It's by day that hegemony can never eliminate good sense. It can interrupt, it can put an interval, it can block it for time being, it can repress it for time being. Momentarily it can suppress, make them forget. But time will come, people will get back to rhythm. So 2 years later they got back to rhythm of reconciliation. So therefore, no hegemonic element, Ghanshyam used to say, no hegemony can ever eliminate common sense and its contradictions. You cannot eliminate visualization, you can't eliminate visualization sense, can't eliminate good sense, you can't eliminate bad sense, good sense. Both senses remain. So both senses remain, only hegemonic person re-articulate good bad sense. Try to hide, try to suppress good sense. They can suppress good for time being, or they can put the brake on that. But people wait for opportunities, people wait for their chances. So the history of all these hegemonic constructions clearly demonstrates consistently that nowhere hegemony can be ever complete. No hegemony can be a complete project. It always remains unstable, incomplete, trying to negotiate with common sense more frequently than the counter-hegemonic forces. My problem is that hegemonic elements encounter common sense better than counter-hegemonic forces. Counter-hegemonic forces no sense of common sense, but hegemony has better sense of common sense. This is my problem. My problem with the way right wing connects the emotions of people, left and liberals are unable to connect with the emotions of people. That's my major problem. The problem lies here. The problem is other way around. The problem is we are not able to connect. And they are right being able to connect the emotions of people very phenomenally, massively, across the world. India or America, wherever you go, partners of America, they agree with Trump, yet they support him. He read economic times today, says that farmers are with Trump despite being aligned with these policies. The idea is these emotions of people are not masked by the left liberals. This is not my problem. Across the world, task is to recover those. Task is to connect with the emotions of people and see that the original, see that the original, when even the support right, the original, and try to develop them further. And this that hegemony is a complete and trying to suppress common sense, trying to close the common sense is a theory which is not recent. It comes from 1970 onwards. Bukharin, Ramsey's critic of Bukharin, if you read carefully, he is critical of this attitude that common sense is closed by hegemony, and hegemony has completely mastered common sense, and common sense possesses autonomy. Therefore, common sense has captured hegemonic process. This is said by Bukharin and is said by Participants. Now, it is said by many people. Those who say that hegemony is complete and in control of common sense, they are inside of people like Bukharin and Participants. But I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. And the common sense can never be fully annihilated by hegemony. That's my solution. That is the original Ramsey, and I am with Ramsey on this too. So, equal access is a complex question Sachin asked. See, I have equal access socially speaking. It doesn't negate diversity. Religious diversity must be equally accessed by all groups concerned. That's all. That's the minimum argument I say. But is it possible or not? But question that can't be said by law. If it is possible, it should be said by dialogue, not by law. Typically with Kerala cases that Supreme Court enacted a law which could not be implemented by state government. State government backed down. They supported, finally left government backed down. They survived, backed down, they survived. They persisted, they created another crisis in secular society in Kerala. So the point is left got some good sense at that point of time. The idea is why impose law? If you think women must enter into the temple, let's have dialogue with Kadagiri. And RSS, interestingly, before Supreme Court judgment came, they had written a detailed article in Organizer. Organizer said that in Sabarimala case, RSS must encourage dialogue. So that women can enter into the temple. They said that. They would do, they kept the back out of it. And when the resistance came, they were participating in resistance movement rather than in their own article which they wrote in the Organizer. Already these dualities, ambivalences, the paradoxical positions are there across RSS, across secular camp. The idea is that learn from people and let us dialogue with them, and through persistent, successful dialogue, we can probably convert people to believe in equal access to all. And it's not easy, it's very difficult, but our politicians, intellectuals, ready for dialogue with our truth. That's my question of the day today. So in a way, I said, next to common sense, good sense. Yes, good sense is there. I gave the example of communal rights. Despite communal rights, despite able to sweep the tribes on the feet, tribes got sense and good sense prevailed on them. They came to ground and realized that we should not be isolated from ground reality. Like, therefore, original thinking came back and they recovered good life and they are at peace with Dalit Christians right now in those villages where dialogue happened. Through dialogue, as I told you, dialogue, most of the conflicts can be neutralized to a great extent. I have seen communal rights in Kandhamal, people are killing each other, despite destruction of life, through dialogue in limited form, wherever it happened. Not, it didn't happen in all villages in Kandhamal. It happened in several villages in Kandhamal. So wherever dialogue happened, I have seen lasting peace. People are guarding their villages. No hot wind should blow from outside. They are saying, no hot wind should blow from outside. Hot winds are metaphorical. I will not tell you more on that. but whatever, the heartbeat of the guiding the peace for in the villages. Therefore, it is important for us to understand that, and dialogue can achieve many miracles. We are not ready to dialogue with Samaritans. We have always condemned them or glorified them. The result, we are not in dialogue with them. Neither RSS is dialogue with anyone. RSS also dialogue with Christians, this and that. Where can we walk the talk? See, must walk the talk. RSS can profess dialogue with Christians. I can profess dialogue, not RSS. RSS is an activist organization. Just act, not dialogue. Act on dialogue. We must walk the talk, not simply talk. Similarly, Modi talks, Modi in 2016 said, we said Truth and Reconciliation Committee in New Delhi. A remarkable statement made by Prime Minister of India. Now Prime Minister of India said this. There should be Truth and Reconciliation Committee in India. Prime Minister Modi said that. And I wish he had walked the talk. What problem with us is we know what we should do. We are not walking the talk. That is my worry. They are talking like professors like me and Professor Manji, was meant to profess, not to walk. We cannot talk, not profess. But politicians are supposed to talk, walk, not simply talk. They are talking like us, but not walking. That is my difficulty. And duality will remain. Any common sense will have this dual ambivalence position. Both endoxa and doxa, as Aristotle says, endoxa and endoxa will be part of doxa. Aristotle is eternally valid. Aristotle's thesis is eternally beautiful. Eternal, I say eternally, Sanatana, that is why Sanatana Dhamma. If I again say Sanatana, I will say Aristotle, I have Sanatana Dhamma. There is eternal truth. Common sense has endoxa and endoxa, good sense and bad sense. Necessary for us to dialogue with that. By suppressing or glorifying, we will not do justice to democracy or secularism. So I think I covered almost all.
It is very rare to witness this kind of a moment where a theoretician would give us so many rich accounts from the field. And I just cannot help myself, and I feel that Sir Bernard Cohen wrote a book, An Anthropologist Among the Historians, and I feel that we've just witnessed an anthropologist among theoreticians, political theoreticians. So it has been a privilege, sir, to listen to you. And I would now like to invite Dr. Abhishek Nath to give a formal